You would though, wouldn't you? Chris is in town. Welcome back to another video on the channel, Newcastle fans. It's another transfer video, and if you haven't already heard, Chris Wood is on the way to Newcastle for his medical tonight. It's picked up pace, this one. Chris Wood from Burnley, the striker. It's looking like it's going to cost us in excess of £25 million. That's his release clause in his contract. And we've got a striker in the door, second signing of the window. So I think my first thoughts on this one is smart. That's the first word that comes to mind. It's not a glamorous signing by any means. It's not a signing that's going to get any of us super excited. Certainly not as much as Trippier, who's obviously England international, coming from Atletico Madrid. And I don't even think Chris Wood would claim to be an exciting signing for anyone he plays for. But it's smart and it's very intelligent business from the club, I think, because let's face it, the hardest thing to get in transfer windows, even more in January, are strikers and goal scorers. And we are desperately lacking in one. If we'd have had a striker on the pitch against Cambridge United on Saturday, as bad as we were, we probably would have been out of sight. The amount of crosses that came in the box in the second half, the chances we had in the first half, and that just hammered home to me and probably the board how desperately we need a goal scorer with Callum Wilson out. So Chris Wood is a proven goal scorer, in my opinion. He knows where the goal is. He's good with his head. He's always there for a tap, and he's got that natural goal scoring instinct. He knows the Premier League, so there's no worries about him having to adapt like when you sign players from abroad. I know we might be getting another one, so I'll touch on that in a second. But not only that, Newcastle fans, but we are taking away one of the prized assets from a team we are going against in this relegation battle. Burnley will not have wanted to sell this man in a million years in January. And not only that, to sell to a relegation rival, my God, you can only imagine the abuse that Sean Dyche's wife is getting tonight over a glass of wine in the house. He will be fucking furious. You just imagine him in that deep voice, can't you, going mental. But release clauses, that's exactly what happens. They can't do a single thing about it. And no disrespect to Burnley at all, but I think it's safe to say we are a much bigger club than Burnley. I've been there. I've been to that awful away end that they have at Turf Moor, and I think Chris Wood, if he hits the ground running, for example, on Saturday against Watford and bangs a couple of goals in, he's going to be a hero, and he's going to get lauded by 52,000 people, and he's never had that before. So, that being said, I think it's a means to an end, and going into that Watford game, it was crucial that we had some sort of striker in, because Dwight Gale's not playing. He's obviously going to be sold. That's why he's not going anywhere near the team. Even in the FA Cup, we are going to try and offload him. And it would be worrying to go into a huge match against Watford without a striker. And I think that's exactly what Eddie Howe and the board's thought process was with this one. He's there. He was available. It was a quick bit of business with regards to hitting that release clause. Is £25 million a lot of money for Chris Wood? Of course it is. He's 30-year-old. He's not prolific. 25 million. But let's not forget that 25 million to us now as a football club, as hard as it is to get our head round, is pocket change. It is peanuts. And if Chris Wood was to stay with us till the summer, keep us up with the goals with Callum Wilson absent, if that keeps us up by bringing him in, even gets us 9 points from the next 15, for example, then it's a good signing. My God, I cannot reiterate how important it is that we get bodies through the window, through the door in this window in January to keep us up. We have got one of the most exciting projects that we've had as Newcastle fans in my lifetime, without a doubt, about to bubble over here. And relegation is the last thing we need. I've seen some people saying relegation could help us clear out the dead wood, start again. No, for me, no, let's stay up. Let's do our utmost to stay in this Premier League and then build from there. And I think Chris Wood is quick business going into the Watford match, which is huge against a team that's down there. He knows the league. He's a goal scorer and he gives us a different option. So Callum Wilson is very quick, always on the last man. That's not really Chris Wood's style. Chris Wood is, you could even say Chris Wood's your old-fashioned sort of centre-forward to a degree. Very good in the air. Again, he's a natural goal scorer, as I mentioned at the start of the video. And if you compare Callum Wilson's stats against Chris Wood's, for anyone who might be thinking, oh, Chris Wood, what a disheartening signing, their records are very similar. I know Callum Wilson's had his injury problems, but if you look goals to games over the last 3 or 4 seasons, there's not much different there. So Chris Wood's record reads just about 1 in 3 in his time at Burnley. 1 in 3 is not bad going by Newcastle United standards for a centre forward. So again, his stats aren't that bad. And I think we all need a bit of a reality check that the signings we're going to be getting in, just because we're rich, does not mean that we have a privilege to sign amazing footballers. Trippier, for me, might be a bit of an exception to the rule. We might get some mercenaries in the door, some players who are maybe in the late 30s from abroad who might sign for us. Trippier, I think, is a genuine signing who wants to be at this football club, and he was a great coup. But yes, we'll get the odd mercenary, but we have to be realistic. And I always go back to Man City. When Man City were taken over by the Saudis, they signed just steady players. They got Robinho, of course, of the marquee signing, but they got a lot of steady eddies. The likes of like Wayne Bridge, for example. There was a lot in there that were just good quality players and enough to do a job for them at that current time until they built on that. And Chris Wood, for me, is smart. And I don't want us to take away from the fact that we are making one of our relegation rivals a hell of a fucking lot weaker. So not only are we getting a striker in for that huge game on Saturday against Watford and the rest of the season with Wilson out, we are also making another team's fight to stay in this division even harder by bringing him in. So not glamorous, but smart. Smart for me. And I'm not excited by it. I'm not going into Saturday's game, get in, Chris Wood's making his debut. I'm not going to be getting his name on the back of my top by any means. But let's just see what the kid can do. He knows where the goal is, and if there's one motivation, it's going from Burnley, again, no disrespect, to a sold-out 52,000 St James's Park roaring you on in a huge game on Saturday. So let's just see what the lad can do. He knows the Premier League inside and out, and he knows where the goal is. And I, for one, am happy that we now have a striker. Yet it's not confirmed yet, but we looks like we're going to have a striker on the books. We also made a bid for, it's being reported, we've made a £30 million bid for this in Nketiah. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I want to say Nketiah, but that's just, I'm going to the Arsenal kid. He plays for Rennes in France. He's looking like the next Mbappe, and it's a one for the future. Now, when I first saw that and we weren't linked to anyone else, I'll be honest, I was crap myself, because I'm like, we need players for now. We are trying to stay in this division. It's no good getting a young lad who's going to take a lot more time to adapt as a seasoned professional to a new country, a new style of football. So that one was a bit concerning for me. But if we're going to bring in someone like Wood, who can get some goals and slot straight into the team now, and this kid is for the future, then I'm all for it. If his reputation is supposed to be as good as what I'm reading and what I'm watching on YouTube, Dennis Wise style, then yeah, I'm all for it. This is what we need to get used to now as Newcastle fans, being linked with £30 million wonder kids to come to our football club. So I'm all for that signing, as long as we get the other players in. And my God, do we need a centre-back in ASAP. Cantwell's still getting linked from Norwich. I think he'd be a fantastic signing. I've always been a fan of Cantwell when he's played in the Premier League. I think he's a very, very good footballer. So again, that's someone I'd be happy to see come in to slot in that central midfield, because we aren't blessed with many options in there. Hayden's out for a while. Willock's looking absolute dog shit. Shelvey, well, Shelvey's that sort of player to sit and spread the ball around. That attacking, shots at goal central midfielder is something I'd happily add to the ranks. I think Cantwell slots into that for me, and obviously we need a left back as well. But yeah, the big news tonight is Chris Wood is in. He's probably going to sign in the next 24 hours. Get him in the team on Saturday. We're going to have to adapt our playing style a little bit to suit him, I feel like, because he's certainly suited to more crosses coming in the box. And that's something that I've seen us come away from a little bit under Eddie Howe so far. Rather than just lumping balls in, we're trying to play the ball a little bit more, so I hope that suits. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, Newcastle fans, give us a like, give us a subscribe, get us on Facebook and Instagram on the Black and White Banter, and let us know your thoughts on Chris Wood joining our football club and potentially going straight into the team on Saturday, and also who you'd like to see coming next in this January transfer window. And no doubt before the Watford match preview, I'll probably be touching down for another transfer video because we link with about fucking 40 players a week.